Hi, I was going to upload a different video today, but I will upload that later. On my last video, I talked about Launchbox and the advantages over coin ops. Well, someone brought up Batocera. I uploaded a video about 4 years ago on Batocera, but I'm going to do it again. Now, if you're planning on making a USB flash drive to take with you to play on other people's computers, trust me, Batocera is not the way to go. One, secure boot has to be off for this to load. If you go to Batocera website and read up on it, you have to have secure boot off. Two, you have to enter BIOS to actually get Batocera to load. Now, Windows is not going to see Batocera once you make it. It is more like a Linux distro. Linux will see Batocera. Windows will not generally see what's in Batocera. So, adding games to Batocera is a real pain in the ass. Plus, it comes with that Kodi media player, which I absolutely detest because every time you start Batocera, even now, 4 years ago, I had an issue with Kodi media player just starting, and it drove me crazy. Because even though I tried to shut it down time and time again, it would still just start playing immediately. Now I'm going to go through the steps you're going to have to take. If you're going to use Batocera on your own computer, that's one thing. But if you're wanting to take a flash drive with games, such as Super Nintendo, stuff like that, and you have a controller like this is my cheap generic knockoff N64 controller. This is plug and play on Windows. It takes no drivers. Basically, you plug it in, that's it. Windows picks it up. Windows will use it. It is plug and play. On Batocera now, they do have a lot of stuff for controller support. See, I have to enter BIOS and go here. I have to go to USB storage. So if you're using this on someone else's computer, you have to enter their BIOS, enter their settings. If you have secure boot on, you have to turn it off for Batocera to work. That is according to the Batocera website. Now, this flash drive is basically Linux, which means I'm not going to be able to format this with Windows. I actually have a partition program that I delete the partition over. Now, this is the absolute latest version of Batocera straight from their website. I just downloaded this 15 minutes ago. Well, it is about 20 minutes ago. I want you to hear something. That's Kodi media player automatically playing. I absolutely detest this. I wish they would take this damn media player out of Batocera and all of these gaming programs here. They're not operating systems, but they will use your computer. Adding games to this is a pain in the ass. If you don't know what you're doing, you are literally going to have an issue using Batocera. It's a pain in the butt. Now, you're more than welcome to try Batocera if you want to try it. Just one, use a flash drive you can lose, because Windows is not going to format this drive. This is basically a RetroArch or Linux version. I believe Batocera is Linux. You know, like a lot of other things are Linux. So plan on, if you only have Windows and you don't have a program that will format this or delete the partitions, plan on having a flash drive you can lose. I don't plan on losing my flash drive, but the thing about Batocera is it's hard to use. It's hard to add games to. It is hard to do a lot of things with. Now, this has 14 games installed, right? I see Donkey Kong, whatever the hell that is. So a couple Mega Drive game, Fix-It Felix Jr. reminds me of Wreck-It Ralph. Because that's what it looks like. Like I said, you're more than welcome to use Batocera. Be warned if you want to use that Batocera. If you plan on using this on someone else's computer, you have to enter BIOS. You have to turn off Secure Boot, and you have to put the flash drive for the first boot option. Using Batocera is a pain in the butt. I talked about this 4 years ago. I'm talking about it again. If you plan on playing games from a flash drive, and you're going to be using Windows, Launchbox is easier to use, easier to add games to, but you're more than welcome to do this. Like I said, I'm making this video because the person said Batocera's it, or Batocera's the greatest, or whatever it is. Batocera is a real pain in the ass, and if you screw up, you screw up everything on Batocera. And I absolutely hate Kodi Media Player. And see, the game's not even playing, and the sound is playing through it. But Kodi Media Player is just a pain. I absolutely hate it. Like I said, this is plug and play. That's fine. Windows will pick this controller up. Well, let's see if it'll quit. And like I said, Batocera is a pain in the butt. Let's go down to quit again. It's been so long since I've used this. Let's try A. Well, A's not working. Like I said, it's a pain in the ass. Let's try B. Alright, B is quit. B is on here as action. I want to shut down system. So it's B. Yeah, I don't want to save all that crap. Once again, Batocera is not the best way to go if you want to take games with you to use on someone else's computer or on any other computer. If you want to use it on a computer without internet, Batocera is not the best way to go. Now, taking that out, I am not losing the flash drive. Unfortunately, my time is going to be off now on Windows because that is Linux. And I believe today is the 29th. As you can tell, I do have dual boot on here. And because I had that in there, it's taking a minute to load. But once again, if you like Batocera, that's fine. If you know how to use it, that's fine. But Batocera for beginners is definitely a no-no. You actually have to install other programs and stuff on Batocera to get games installed and BIOS installed and all this other stuff. And it is a royal pain in the butt. Once again, I don't advise using Batocera if you're a newbie or new to this type of stuff. And this is going to take a while because the BIOS has to straighten out. But if you're using a flash drive for games and you're wanting to play on Windows or even Linux, Launchbox has programs for both. I believe they may have even a Launchbox for Mac. I'm not sure. But Batocera is definitely not the way to go if you're a newbie to this and you just want to have some of your favorite games. Batocera, see right there, I do have a dual boot. Batocera is a real pain in the ass. I brought this up before. Launchbox right now is one of the easiest programs you can use to create a gaming flash drive. It's easier to add games to. The controller does pick off automatically. It has a default controller setting. As long as Windows picks up your controller, Launchbox will use your controller. Now let's see if my date will be right. But I'm going to take you to Batocera's website because I want you to see. Okay, it's today the 30th. Yeah, I think today's the 30th. I will find out as soon as I start my antivirus. I do not have my antivirus to start automatically. I actually start it manually. But I want you to understand, Batocera is fine and dandy if you know how to use it. If you don't know how to use it, you're asking for trouble, you're asking for problems, and you're going to end up losing a flash drive, if not more than one flash drive. Yeah, update this. But I was going to actually upload a different video today that I have made. I already have one made. But someone brought up Batocera. And a lot of people, especially getting into stuff like this, want their favorite games. They're going to run into problems with BIOS. They're going to run into problems importing games on Batocera. They're going to end up losing a flash drive. That's all it is to it. And I want to keep people to where they can actually do this themselves. Now, I do have the Batocera website bookmarked. And I want you to see something on Batocera. Yes, you do have to enter BIOS on your computer. So if you're taking this to somebody else's computer, who's going to want you messing around with their damn BIOS? I mean, seriously? Nobody. I mean, would you want somebody, even if you knew them, would you want someone coming over there to your house and going, oh, by the way, I just want to put this in, play a few games, but to do this, I have to get into your BIOS folder on your laptop or hard drive or computer, you know? Right here, here's install. Now, you can go right here. And this will tell you how to install stuff. Batocera, Raspberry Pi, go down to Windows, fail Flash. And right here, you have to use Etcher. Right? Etcher is a program used for installing Linux. Now, if your flash screws up, it could be likely because of an ancient bug in Windows that fails from seeing multiple partitions on any USB flash drive or any USB drive. This can be fixed by reformatting the entire drive to NTFS, if you can reformat it. In this case, Windows Own Tools failed to do so. This is where the command prompt instructions below. Unless you're used to command prompt and terminal and stuff like that, if it fails, you have to have a program to delete that partition and repartition it, or you lost that drive. And it goes, yes, this is as dangerous as it sounds. If Batocera fails to boot, look at all this crap you have to go through. Batocera should boot fine with UEFI. However, sometimes legacy, or MBR as it is sometimes referred to, is the only option depending on your motherboard. So if you picked the wrong thing to install with, master boot record or UEFI, if you picked the wrong one, it can screw it up. And that's going into your BIOS shit. You don't want that. To access BIOS settings from Windows, and this troubleshooting and all this, secure boot, of course, right here. Secure boot, control EFI, legacy boot, removable media boot, boot order. If you get into somebody's system, with Batocera, and it screws up. Do you want to take a chance of screwing up somebody else's computer? No, you don't. Because this actually can, if it boots wrong in BIOS. If it's not reading correctly in BIOS, it can screw stuff up. Yes, they have one for Mac, Batocera for Mac, and they have it for Linux. So, I mean, and adding games to this is a pain in the butt. Alright, this is just to install. Let's go for add games in BIOS. Look at all this. To add games, you have to have another flash drive. You have to be online, blah, blah, blah. Network sharing. I mean, are you kidding me? Put all your ROMs into a USB drive, plug it into a Batocera machine while it's running, and copy them over. So you have to have Batocera running on one flash drive, another flash drive, you have to have your games, then you have to copy them over while Batocera is running. If it picks up the second drive with your games on it, that's an issue. And then you may have to use, if using Android, blah, 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 all this other, I mean, come on. I forget who told me Batocera is the best, but I've used Batocera before. I've used several types of these programs before, and to be honest, none of them are as easy as Launchbox. Be warned, there have been user reports of Windows, iOS failing to copy over the data successfully when interacting with Linux formatting partitions. Well, gee, that's what Batocera is. When you write it with Etcher, it's a Linux partition. For a simple solution, DiskGenius can be used to read and write to ex4 partitions. The free trial, think about that, free trial only allows small files to be copied over. So, if you screw up or screw something up, you have to buy other programs to actually do it correctly or fix it. Or you have to start over and pray you can recover your flash drive. I'm sorry. It is easier to just use a flash drive and put Launchbox on it and then add the games you want with their game adding stuff that's really super easy to use, then add this crap in Batocera. BIOS files are required for some emulators to operate correctly. Of course, Launchbox is the same, but the only BIOS that actually asks for it was the PS1 BIOS. Some of the PlayStation and Neo Geo games require a BIOS file to work. BIOS are copyrighted, therefore not included. We cannot distribute it. You will need your own. So it's not just plug and play. List of BIOS files that are suitable. The MDS_sum command to get the checksum of the BIOS files. The easiest way is to check missing BIOS from the system settings menu. It will show you a required path and NB5 sum of every BIOS file needed for each system. So then you have to, it has a readme text, but use the terminal command. So unless you know terminal or basically word programming and crap like that, you're not going to get Batocera set up. And if you do, you're going to be lucky. Adding ROMs. Here's your games. Let's see. Da, 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 da. And it doesn't really tell you much about adding games. And your ROMs have to be in the right format. I'm sorry. For those of you saying Batocera is better, I'm glad you got it to work correctly. I have never actually got everything to work in Batocera. And trust me, I've tried. And that Kodi Media Player just starting automatically drives me completely apeshit. Once again, you are more than welcome to do that. And if you do, hey, great. If you want something easier, then see, watch this. Batocera. Open files. This is it. This is everything that shows up from Windows. Nowhere are your files for your games or anything else. This will not show it. Now let's go here. I want to show you something. This is a 32 gigabyte flash drive. This is what it shows. .98 gigabytes is what it free. It has this is 6.98 gigs total, 4.19 gigs free. This 32 gigabyte flash drive is showing as a less than an 8 gig. It's basically showing as an 8 gigabyte flash drive. I hope you can see that. It does say 32. I apologize if you can't see it. It's right there. 32 gigabytes. But this is showing as an 8 gigabyte flash drive. All that other space is gone. And the thing is, Batocera is a royal pain in the ass. So for the person saying, hey, Batocera is great, no, it's not. I have used Batocera. I have tried several of those gaming programs that you put on flash drives. For the newbie, for a person that just wants their games on a flash drive, to take with them, that don't have to enter BIOS, you just plug it into a Windows machine, and you don't have to install emulators. There's a flying house. This is the best way for them to do it. Is to just use Launchbox. And there's no controller configurations. There's no damn media player. None of that crap. Once again, it's up to you. Whatever you want to use is fine. And the fact is, I hate Batocera. I absolutely detest it. I hate Kodi Media Player just starting up, and it's hard to shut down. It just automatically starts. That takes up resources. You don't want that if you have an older computer, older system. Windows 7 is basically the oldest most of these things will run off of. Oh crap, that's unplugged. But Windows 7 is basically it when it comes to any of these gaming programs off a flash drive. Now this is the free version, just like Batocera is free, but Batocera is a pain in the ass to set up. So, you know, it's up to you. I'm not saying what you can and can't do or what you should or shouldn't do, but Batocera is not the way to go for a newbie wanting to install or make their own flash drive with games on it. That would be the easiest thing right here is Launchbox. Once again, the person that said Batocera, I've used Batocera. I've tried Batocera. I actually had it for I don't know, probably about 3 months, trying it in and out about 4 years ago. And even the new versions suck. Now here, this is Launchbox. I have a 60 gigabyte flash drive. 57.3 gigabytes is what it shows because it's a 60 gig flash drive. 6.08 gigs free. You can see right there. The entire drive's picking up. And I don't have to enter BIOS. If you want a flash drive with games to take with you to play on other people's machines that has a Windows machine, they have this program for Linux, that's fine. This is the best way to do it. You don't have to enter BIOS. You don't have to try to use command prompt to export things in. And it actually shows you the amount of space on your drive. Once again, Batocera, 32 gigabyte. 32 gig drive. I hope you can see it right there, top corner. Watch. I don't want that open. I just want to show this. Now, do you know what's going to happen if I try to format this using Windows? It will show as 6.98 gigs. That's it. That's that 32 gigabyte flash drive will format to literally 7 gigabytes. Because Batocera is a Linux version. And this is how it sets it up. Alright, that's it. I'm fixing to go. Unfortunately, I apologize for the long video. I do have another video I will be uploading. Damn fly in the house. Uploading probably tomorrow. I already have it made. In fact, unplug that. I gotta delete the partitions on that and reformat that. I do have a program, Mini Tool Partition Wizard, to delete the partitions, repartition it, and do all the formatting on my flash drives. Unless you have something like that, do not install Batocera on a flash drive because you will lose space, and Windows will not format that completely. Oh yes, the video I was going to upload today is called If Life Gives You a Win, Take It. So that video is ready to get uploaded, but I will upload it after this one because someone brought up Batocera. I've used Batocera. It's hard to use. It's hard to set up. It's hard to import BIOS. It's hard to import games. If you like Batocera, great. But for someone that's a newbie, that's just wanting to make a flash drive that they can take with them, that has their games on it, or where they can have their games and don't have to worry about, you know, how to import BIOS here and do this and that, and what's going to happen if their games don't work, how are they going to change this and that. Batocera is hard to do. It's hard to use. A lot of it has to do with command prompts, which unless you're used to command prompts and like terminal in Linux, it's going to be a pain in the ass. And unless you're willing to lose your flash drive, don't do it. And yes, there are ways to recover the flash drive. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But for a 32 gigabyte flash drive, basically the show is 8 gigabytes or less. That's a lot of empty space lost. And if I formatted this with Windows, it will literally say 8 gigabytes, well 6.7 gigabytes until the flash drive crashes. Windows will not format this correctly with Batocera on it. Okay, I appreciate everybody watching. Like I say, my next video was the video I was going to upload today. It's called If Life Gives You a Win, Take It. So keep an eye out for that. It is pretty long. I believe it's about 40 minutes of me talking about stuff, good and bad things in life. A couple bad things have happened to us in the past month or so. Our air conditioner pretty much caught on fire, and I talk about that in my next video. But hey, things happen. Um, Once again, avoid Batocera unless you're willing to pretty much lose a flash drive, because I've lost several flash drives to things like Batocera, and damn it, I can't remember the name of that other one. I apologize, I can't remember, and it has to do with all these little games in a row, and damn it, I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, it's in one of my videos way back, but I've lost several flash drives using stuff like Batocera. Once again, it's up to you. If you like Batocera, great. Unless you know what you're doing, avoid it like the plague. And if it's games you want to take with you to play on someone else's computer, I know if somebody came to my house and said, hey, let me plug this into your USB port and, you know, get into your BIOS, I'd be like, oh, hell no. That's what Batocera needs. You have to boot it from BIOS. Alright, that's it. I'm fixing to go. Everyone have a good day. I made this video earlier, so I am wearing the same shirt that I'm wearing now. I made the other video earlier, so I will be taking another picture of me in the exact same shirt. Thank you very much. But it is made on the same day. Anyway, that's it. I'm fixing to go. Everyone have a good day. And once again, Batocera is fine if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, avoid it like the plague, because you can screw some stuff up. And if you do that, well, you're pretty much stuck with either a bad flash drive. You can screw up your BIOS when you start getting into BIOS, like turning off and on secure boot and things like that. If it doesn't pick up on master boot record, you have to switch that to EUFI or whatever the hell it is. So it's a lot of hassle. And a lot of it has to do with going into your BIOS when you start your computer. If you don't know what you're doing, you don't want to do that. If it's someone else's computer, you sure don't want to do that to be able to play a couple games. Anyway, that's it. I'm fixing to go. Everyone have a good day or night. Bye.